Okay, good evening, everyone. I had to snatch a quick 10 minutes or 5 minutes at best to just to update all those who've been inquiring about the Connoisseur's Corner presentations of Moxen Laurence's presentations of house parties and warehouses circa 1985 to 1988/1989. It's a history, a breakdown in 3 stages. Starting with our beginnings, which would be with a sound I'm giving homage to now in prep before the actual videos and podcasts go up. That would be This Generation, also known as This Generation on FB and social media, who initially let us use their equipment to host our first ever venue, which was in February the 14th, yes, Valentine's Day, 1985. And just to give you a quick rundown of that, me, my friends, most local sound people would always on a Friday support Mr. Palmer at the London Apollo Club. Remember that, people? And that was our springboard, our audience, our community, our local people, who we spread our flyers out, which I'll get into the history of that as well, of it's how we did our artwork and who did our artwork. And we left most of that initially in the beginning to the sound themselves until we realized we needed our input in how we wanted to look. We left that in the hands of This Generation. We distributed those flyers out on it was a Friday too, the 14th. If I'm mistaken, it was the 13th, and the Saturday was the Valentine's, so it ran on for 2 nights. We distributed our flyers predominantly in our area to people we knew, because that was enough to fill the building. It was in a very dear friend's flat in Sidmouth Parade in Willesden. A family who are relatives of Womack and Womack, which was another splinter on how we got into the music. I want to give a shout out to them, to Ratu and his family, whose younger sister it was, whose flat I used. And we did, like I said, we did the event for 2 nights. People who got the flyer after the London Apollo finished made their way to our gig and continued on the revelry. And we stopped for the night or the morning and continued on the next night. And it was very successful. We springboarded of that automatically, I suppose, to bigger venues. There was a demand for it, and we never severed ties with any of these different factions or different sounds. We didn't get into any of that. It was always business. So if we weren't working with This Generation for one particular type of thing, we eventually got linked into other guys, and that's what the podcast will be about. From This Generation, the next time you see me up here will be about our handling of FRESHBEAT, how we got to link with them, how we promoted them, all those levels, and how we eventually linked in with RAPATTACK. And big shouts to Alistair, who at some point will be featuring as one of the interviewees. I got to get back to work. It's just a quick reminder to those who wanted to know where we were at with it. So big shouts to Dennis Winter Company Soul Sound, to May's Soul Sound from Kensal Rise, a load of these pioneers who, in many of the podcasts that I've listened to, haven't even had a nod. And Good Times, Norman J, Trevor Mad Hatter, Jazzy Q, Jazzy B, HB, Daddy Harvey, Special Edition, Doctor and all those guys, Ken Duncan, Tipper, and loads of others, Studio Express, who came up later, I suppose, Beat Freak, Hard Rock Soul Movement, Max LX and Dave VJ, Mastermind, all those guys, people I went to school with as well, you know, all these different sounds. There's a lot more people too, whose names will feature later on. That's just off the top of my head. See you at the podcast, all right? Or the video.